My balls. I don't want my balls sticking to my legs.
Alright guys, so this video that we're about to cover is a little bit older. It's been out for about a month or more now that Buzzfeed put out. So you know it's quality content. You know, Buzzfeed never disappoints with the level of content that they produce. Now, if you are not aware of what manspreading is, and I imagine a good portion of people that are watching this video probably don't know what it is, one of these feminists is about to explain it to you.
Manspreading is when a man spreads his physical body to take up as much space as humanly possible.
Look at this dude.
So pretty much manspreading is whenever you're a guy and you spread your legs when you sit down, and it apparently takes up a lot of the space around you so that other people can't enjoy themselves comfortably or sit near you. And it's as a guy, it's whenever you sit down, you spread your legs so that you don't sit on your fucking dick or balls. And apparently this triggers some females, or at least the subhuman of females that consider themselves feminists. I doubt there's any guys that go out into public with the intention of annoying people with this. This is just how a lot of us sit, so we don't sit on our balls, because that actually hurts. It hurts a lot whenever you sit on your balls. I know they don't quite understand that because they're females. Well, except for this one. This one definitely knows what it's like to sit on his balls.
Grow up on two different tracks. People who manspread just are socialized not to worry about it.
You gotta love how one of the earliest examples of one of these guys manspreading is this dude right here, who is at a 90-degree angle with his fucking legs. He's so much so in his space that his legs are parallel with the seat, and he's so mindful of other people's space that he actually has his bag in between his feet.
I have so many vivid memories as a child of my mum telling me to close my legs.
Okay, first off, bro, you have no reason to be opening your legs if you're sitting. You're not a guy, you don't have a... Well, you specifically probably do have a dick and balls, but most females do not. And on top of that, a lot of females wear things like dresses or skirts. So if your mom's telling you at a younger age, where you're probably going to be wearing a dress or a skirt, to close your legs, it's so that nobody sees your shit.
This week of manspreading is definitely going to make me feel anxious. As much as a super strong feminist, I want to say it won't.
I kind of secretly hope to annoy some men.
Look at this dude.
See, this right here is one of the distinct differences between what it is they're pissed off about and what it is they're actually going out there and doing. See, this bitch right here is going out with the intent to annoy men, whereas men are going out with the intent to not sit on their fucking testicles. And that's really all there is to it. We're not out there to piss off anybody, to annoy anybody. We're just trying to make some room, just a little bit of room, so that we're not sitting on our testicles, because I know you don't know this, but it fucking hurts.
That's my first train trip as a manspreader. I just feel like a monster already.
Oh my god, you are a monster. Look at all that room you're taking up with your fucking knee. You are taking up so much room. You manspread so far. It's unbelievable. Somebody stop this chick before she manspreads again.
You do this every day without being conscious of it.
Okay, hold up. First off, you got your goddamn legs out in the aisle, which is obviously not even manspreading. You're just being a fucking asshole at that point. Secondly, you're turned sideways in the seat, and I know that because of the chick sitting across from you. And third, both of you women, and yes, I do mean women, are sitting in a handicapped seat, as can be shown from the sign behind your head.
I just manspread on the bus for maybe a 5-minute ride for the first time, and it wasn't even half full, and I was already getting glared at, so I think this is going to be a kind of long week.
Okay, so this chick claims that she rode the bus for a mere 5 minutes, and the bus wasn't even really that full. It was only half full, and she was manspreading and was getting glared at, yet there is obviously no footage of that. There's no proof of any of the times that these chicks were harassed by somebody for manspreading. There's no proof of these guys ever saying, well, what are you doing? Why are you taking up all this space? They just tell you that happens. They never actually show it.
Whenever a woman takes up space, she's considered bossy, she's considered aggressive. There are a lot of stereotypes surrounding black women and whether or not we're angry or we're dominant. And so maybe a lot of the reasons why I do minimalize my presence is because I don't want to be perceived or engage with those stereotypes.
Okay, first things first, in the end of that clip, she is not even manspreading, which they're trying to, of course, show you a demonstration of. She's in her own, like, recliner. There's arms on the chair. There's no way she could manspread if she wanted to. She has her foot propped up on a footstool that is meant for that chair, I'm assuming. It's some kind of eating establishment, and it just looks ridiculous. And then she goes on to say something along the lines of, if women take up space, they're perceived as aggressive, which I don't even know where you kind of get that logic from. I've never even heard of that. I've never heard anybody say that in my 45 years of living. And then, of course, she pulls out the race card, because it wouldn't quite be a good Buzzfeed video if somebody didn't pull a race card. She's black, so she's extra aggressive.
I just got my nails done, and I manspread during my entire manicure, and nobody really seemed to notice.
So you're going to tell me that you were manspreading during your entire manicure, and nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit that you're manspreading. It's almost like this shit is fucking made up and it doesn't even exist, and it's just something for feminists to bitch about.
What is it between their legs that's so important that it requires 2 to 3 seats when there are kids, families, women, and elderly people standing up?
2 to 3 seats, huh? Well, I see right here there are 2 guys taking up 2 seats, and both of these guys, their legs are clearly apart, so they are by definition manspreading, yet neither of their knees are touching each other, and neither one of them seems annoyed. You think that they would give us one credible example of these guys taking up 2 or 3 seats, yet there's no proof to ever be found in this video.
I saw a guy who was taking up 2 seats. When I sat down, I spread my legs out, which kind of pushed his leg into his own seat, and he turned to me and gave me a dirty look and said, "Seriously?"
So you went out of your way to sit next to this guy. There's probably available seats anywhere on this this form of transportation. There's no proof of it, so I don't know what they were on. But you went out of your way to sit next to this guy, and then you managed to push his leg out of the way, push his leg to the side, and he gets a little upset about it, and you are surprised by this. I think anybody, it doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl, manspreading. If you sit next to somebody and you use your legs to push their leg to the side, they're gonna be upset about it. It's fucking common sense.
Today, instead of feeling the confidence that I've kind of been feeling the rest of the week, I started to feel a little guilty. While I was sitting there taking up 2 seats, a guy came up to sit next to me, and instead of moving over like I normally would, I kind of just had to sit there with my legs out, and instead of saying something to me, he just sat on the edge of the seat the entire time.
So, yet again in their elaborate experimentation of this pandemic that is sweeping the nation, she manages to take up 2 seats, and then a guy comes to sit down. She doesn't move, so he has to sit on the edge of the seat. Yet every example they show of guys manspreading, they're taking up 1 seat. They have their legs out in the fucking aisle and shit while they're manspreading, but they don't show any guys doing the exact same thing.
Even though I'm a confident person, I tend to make myself small even when the situation doesn't call for it. And I kind of felt uncomfortable manspreading even though there was no one around me.
Yeah, it's probably pretty uncomfortable because you never have a reason to be doing it.
I've not enjoyed this week at all. The very first day where a group of people came on, they were going to a game and they were all desperate for a seat, and I was taking up 3 seats, and they started talking about personal space. All their eyes were just on me, and they were mostly women. If it was a group of dudes, I would have been like, yeah.
Once again, we got to point out the fact that she is taking up 2 seats, not 1. She's not sitting with her legs on the ground, manspreading. And this isn't even the last example of her doing this. They do this again in just a second. And then she manages to go on and say that there were like a group of people that were coming on, and they wanted to sit down, but she wouldn't let them. And they were women, so she felt bad. But if they were men, she'd be like, ha ha ha. She thought it was funny.
Look at this dude.
To be forced to manspread really showed me how up your own ass you have to be as a person to not be conscious of those around you.
And here we have the final example of my dude taking up 2 seats, throwing his legs up onto the other seat next to him, and counts that as manspreading. Though manspreading that they've ever shown from all the guys in the video are guys that have their feet planted firmly on the floor and are in their own seat. So in conclusion, today we have learned that manspreading is not a real thing. It doesn't exist, as are anything that fucking feminists make up. But in the past week, we have learned the word mansplaining, and now we've learned the word manspreading. So now you can talk to these feminists and kind of understand what the fuck they're talking about, because they make up a lot of words. I apologize for having to put you guys through that shit, because that was terrible, terrible quality content from Buzzfeed. If this video taught you that feminists don't know what the fuck they're talking about, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Follow me on Twitter. Links to my social networks are down below and in the outro. Later.
Balls. I don't want my balls sticking to my legs.